on my right, but always on the political left, Ogie Overman Special, because our special guest is former Congressman Mark Walker, now assigned to the RNC, and we welcome him. Held over from a previous segment, David Daggett is helping us out on the roundtable. Here you go, guys. There have been a lot of jokes made about cities and states wanting to secede from America, but now a few counties are getting serious about it. For example, voters in Crook County, Oregon want to be placed under the Idaho state government. And this fall, Madison County, Illinois voters will decide if they can create their own state. Guys, how likely is it this movement will keep growing and succeed with secession? Ogie.
That's a joke, Jim. Back in the early 70s, there was a group of hardcore hippies in Richmond who seceded. They called themselves the Grove Avenue Republic.
I remember that.
And I think they're still part of the Union.
That's right, Mark.
You know, I think about having visited Normandy and just coming off D-Day, I think it's unpatriotic for the people and the sacrifices that have been made for this country. And I think there should be a penalty to pay when you start using rhetoric or language like that.
To do like that, yeah, I guess. David.
Yeah, I'm a uniter, not a divider. We start fragmenting our people, I think we'll blow to pieces. Let's keep us together.
I agree, David. Now, Louisiana lawmakers have approved a new law that would give judges the option to have child sex offenders castrated as their punishment. Are you guys okay with castrating men who sexually abuse children? And do you think North Carolina will enact this same law? Ogie.
No, that's way off the deep end. Jim, I mean, as bad as child molestation is, that is way too far.
Too harsh.
Yeah.
Mark?
You know, my wife helped start the sexual assault nurse examiner program at Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center.
That's right.
I've seen some of the course cases, and this is your field, David. But yeah, I would be okay even with the death penalty for these serial abusers of children. So I think something needs to be cut off one way or the other. I don't have a problem with it.
Something needs to be cut off. David Daggett.
Well, obviously child abuse is abhorrent. I don't think an equally abhorrent act by us cures the situation. Yes, the punishment should be as extreme as it can be under the law. We start castrating people.
Some of them have even requested it.
I think
Some have requested it. Yeah.
Well, that's a different issue.
Right.
But I think we're going down a bad path. We start doing.
All right. An old video of Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson has surfaced recently, which he says that abortion is brought about because, quote, women aren't responsible enough to keep their skirts down, unquote. Robinson's a GOP candidate running for governor against Attorney General Josh Stein. The two men are neck and neck in the polls. Guys, will this kind of rhetoric get Robinson elected, or will it backfire on him? Ogie.
No, that's going to totally backfire. There's one of many that are going to surface down the stretch against. He's a loon.
Backfire or help?
As a conservative pro-life, until we start paying as much attention and providing resources for some of these mothers that are in difficult situations, we're not going to win this argument. I have a different approach, and I don't think that helps you long term.
David.
I don't think it helps either. It reminds me of Abraham Lincoln's quote, something like, if you're going to criticize, have a heart to help, which is what Mark's saying.
Right.
You got to solve the problem.
All right. Studies have shown that Americans are getting tired of paying for Secret Service protective details for former presidents and vice presidents. Since these officials are usually wealthy enough to pay for their own security, guys, would you like to see Congress stop using taxpayer money to protect these millionaire politicians? Ogie.
Well, there's one millionaire politician I would like to see.
Yeah, I know. We don't have to. Yeah. As a rule, Mark, what do you think?
Former ranking member on Intelligence and Counterterrorism Subcommittee, I can tell you there are bad actors out there that if we're not protecting these former presidents and vice presidents, I think it could create more issues.
You're talking about uniform detection or not uniform, but across the board paid for by taxpayers is okay.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
All right, Dave.
For former president and vice president, absolutely, whether they're foreign or abroad, we need to provide their protection.
Okay.
Yes.
Claiming that social media is addictive and harmful to kids, the New York legislature just passed a bill that will ban those platforms from showing suggested posts to people under the age of 18. Guys, would you like to see North Carolina lawmakers enact a similar ban? Ogie.
How would that work, Jim? How can you selectively eliminate certain posts on I mean, you either do it all or do it none.
Not sure
ban TikTok or let TikTok roam.
One way
I
or the
don't
other, Mark.
understand.
I'm a big guy against government intrusion, but I think there should be some limits as far as what our children are being exposed to on the social media sites.
David.
I think it's a complex, complicated problem that is going to be hard for society to get their arms around, but we're going to have to because there's so much damage occurring. We have to figure out a way. I don't know if this is it, but we got to figure out a way.
All right, and finally, at a recent wedding ceremony in England, the groom, this is a true story, the groom had a penguin as his best man. He said he did it. Yeah, he said he did it because his bride loves penguins. She wanted it. Now, guys, here's the question: when you got married, did your wife help select your best man, and was he in any way an animal?
Well, no, he's my brother, but I've seen plenty of weddings have dogs bringing a ring bearer or a little kid.
Yeah.
Best man, I'm not. But what's it going to hurt, really? You know.
Kelly, pick out your best
No,
man.
I've officiated a few weddings that I had some questions, but maybe one of the groomsmen, but not my best man.
Yeah, did your wife pick out your best man?
Well, I had my wife's brother as my best man. So
she picked him out.
Yeah, because I'm a smart guy.
We're just thinking long term.
I was thinking long term, absolutely.
All right. Well, that's it. We're all smarter. We profess to be. All right. And again, thanks for Mark for stopping by and Dave for filling in for Keith, who's out of town. All right. Well, that's all the time we have. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week.